Commander, why haven't you done what needs to be done?
Soo-Won? Is that you?
You must find a way to end this before.
We need you to hold on. Just a little longer. We're working on a solution.
There is no solution. We will not be undone.
Time to do some real damage. Look out! Kate! We heard your call, Commander.
Soo-Won, please. You must fight it.
There is nothing left to fight.
If the void's native to the deepest corners of the mind, then it's over.
No, I'll buy you some time, champion. But you must use it.
They'll have to hit much harder. Is it true? Do we have to kill her?
Yes, but not with all of this inside her. It would unleash the void onto the world. And the world would not survive it. Go, champion. You must reach Joon. She's the only hope we have.
Ori? I'll stay with her. We'll hold this as long as we can. You're sure?
No more questions. Go!
The cycle is ending.
Aureen! I can't lose any more time. No more delays. No more entertaining doubters and petty disagreements. I need to get to Joon.
All right. So, good afternoon. Welcome back to Through Swords Gaming as we continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. Currently in End of Dragons, and I forgot that when I switched maps, that triggered. So I was just barely able to start recording in time to capture all of that because I was on my way over here to start the video. So a little bit of a different opening than what I'm used to, but just same, we captured all the gameplay that I wanted to capture, so all is good. So we continue to work through End of Dragons, and what we're working on right now is now having cleared our name and defeated Minister Lee, who, as it turns out, is the White Falcon, the leader of the Pyrrhus in New Kaineng. Having defeated him and cleared our name, now we have a responsibility, or not a responsibility, but our next task is to try to get Joon on board so that we can turn our focus to the void. And we just encountered, we got pulled into a vision with Aureen and Soo-Won where we see that the void is taking a considerable toll on Soo-Won, and we see what's going on there. And of course that's problematic for us, so we are on our way to Joon's mansion.
All the big names were there, except Joon.
I had a previous engagement, but I was invited to her Jade celebration. Saw the Empress, but Joon was absent.
You know, I've heard she throws parties as a diversion when she wants to test out new experiments.
I suppose no one in power can stop her if they're sloshed in her sitting room. Clever woman. Strange, but clever.
Alright, so speaking of Joon there, we get a little bit of like flavor on kind of what Joon's about. I can't help but wonder if originally this citizen was supposed to be human because she doesn't use the usual Tengu kind of voice effect, which is similar actually to the voice effect that the Tengu are given in 47 Ronin, starring Keanu Reeves, kind of an odd thing. But just the same, that Tengu for whatever reason doesn't have that effect. So Joon has like this giant mansion up here that is, you know, surrounded by all this jade tech and like, you know, dominates the, so this is like all of Dago Ward here, and we see this is like the Xingje Monastery and everything. And then we have this giant structure in the middle of the map, right? Like far larger than anything else in the map. Even the palace where we come over here and meet with the Empress is like, to a degree, smaller than Joon's mansion here. So certainly meant to be indicative of just how significant Joon has become within the Canthan culture, right? which makes sense since she is the whole Jade Tech person in the first place, right? Oh, Casimir,
You
how
made
nice
it.
to find you here.
Commander, what happened?
Soo-Won. She's lost.
Lost?
Overwhelmed by void. Completely. The way the world will be. Soon.
It won't. We will stop this.
We have to.
Come on, Timey's waiting. She's arranged a meeting with Joon, which is surprising, honestly, since as far as I know, Joon still blames you for what happened.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to get some perspective on that. We'll learn a little bit more about June in that process.
Timey, we're here.
All good. I'll let you in.
So Tammy's voice actor being like really good, we already have some clues just by her tone of voice there. Yeah, I don't like Tammy as a character at all. I do think her voice actor is fantastic, and so to some degree that has a redeeming quality in terms of Tammy as a character. That her voice actor at least is very, very good.
Welcome! Welcome to the estate of Joon. Things are real bad, aren't they?
Yes. We need to start work on the extractor right away. Where's Joon?
Oh, inside. Right this way.
Why am I not seeing a door?
It's got a bit of a trick to it. Joon likes to show off for her guests. Everything here runs on Jade Tech. Power down that battery, Commander.
Okie dokie.
That was certainly flashy. This is where you've been working?
Yeah, even though the labs over at Junlai are better equipped. Joon says she does all her best work here. I'm not gonna question her methods. She's found so many applications for dragon magic. Been kinda awkward though, since she hates you, Commander.
Speaking of that, how did you get her to agree to meet?
Oh, agree?
Timey?
Commander, how did you get in here? How did you get past my security? Timey.
Oh, hi Joon. I was just coming to see you, and as you can see, I brought,
Gods, I was foolish to let you into my confidence. And Ambassador Mead, I vouched for you.
Lady Joon, I didn't know that I wasn't invited. If I had, I
Don't.
never would have.
I won't let you make a fool of me again.
Just listen! The world is coming undone. Soo-Won's void will tear it apart.
Then I will figure out how to contain her. Alone. Now either remove yourself or prepare to be removed. That includes you, Timey.
Damn it, Joon! Would you listen to any voice but your own for
Feel
5
the fury.
seconds? You need us.
Apparently, she will not, in fact, listen to any voice other than her own. So I think probably what we're meant to perceive here is that June, that this is one of her like personal foibles, right? One of her personal weaknesses, that she's over the course of time, as she's been so successful, has also become tremendously arrogant.
I thought you were going to brief Joon on the plan.
I tried, but she's got her own ideas. And whenever I tried to talk about you or the extractor, she shut me down.
So what now then?
If we can make her listen, I'm sure she'll come around. We just need to find a way up to her workshop.
I could open a portal.
No, not unless you want to portal your way straight into a cell block. This place is flush with anti-magic security. But it's also pretty easy to manipulate. Joon made those stairs disappear just by rerouting power from the batteries.
So if we redirected power back to them...
Exactly. There are batteries all over the place. Oh, and this place is connected to the Jadebot network, so you can launch them anywhere in here. I just need to authorize your credentials.
All right. So, by the way, apparently my last video I had some audio problems, which I didn't realize till the entire thing was filmed, and I just wasn't going to redo it over some staticky noises. It just wasn't worth it considering the amount that I played. So, hopefully we're not experiencing the same problem here. I really like my headset. Asus ROG Delta, like it's a good headset. But for whatever reason, I'm struggling with these mic problems from time to time. The mic is clearly the weak link in this headset. So we have a puzzle here we can see, right now we're carrying one charge, right? Because we removed one charge to get through the door that was here. And that's going to kind of get us started as we navigate these different rooms to gain the charges we need. We can see we need 1, 2, 3 charges to get up there. So one at a time, we're going to kind of work our way through this. Now we can't just pull this one back out, or we're going to just strand Casimir in there.
True. But if we were hoping to make her trust us more, this might not be the best course of action. And if it doesn't work out, we are almost certainly being deported.
If the world's around long enough for us to be deported, I'll accept it. Happily.
Yeah, so I mentioned Joon is clearly meant to be perceived as arrogant here. It's worth noting that the commander may be the most, eminently arrogant character in the entire game. After all, it's a commander invading someone else's home and against, that person's will to get them to agree to the commander's plan versus their own plan. So Joon, in her arrogance, says that she doesn't need anyone else, but the commander is going to force her to help because the commander is that sure that the commander's right. So, it's really, two rights not making a wrong, except in the world of Guild Wars 2, they do make a right. No, wait. Two wrongs don't make a right, except in Tier 8. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so kind of work through a few of these little levers here. There we go. And of course the last one's going to disappoint us.
Commander, look out! We tripped the security again.
Again. Who would have thought it? My goodness, Casimir. Just bad luck upon bad luck. Am I right?
Feel the fury. Rip 'em up.
Memory wipe imminent.
They'll have to hit much harder.
How many mechs does she have in this house?
Enough.
Lady
Or
Joon's
not
got
enough, maybe.
quite the
I don't know. Ask her.
collection here. She's certainly decorated.
And she makes sure everyone who enters this house knows it.
I spent a little more time in court with her than you did, Commander. And I think I get it. The nobility won't let her forget where she came from. So she won't let them forget where she's gone.
I guess so. I almost feel like that's Casimir relating to Joon to some degree, because after all, again, what does this really communicate? Except that Joon is, potentially very arrogant.
Wow, nothing bad happened. Apparently, that's the one thing in this house that's not designed to kill us.
All right, gonna be using the Jade Bot a lot to accomplish our goals during this puzzle. It certainly cannot be done without the J-Bot. And I don't think it can be done, that includes using, multiple players. Because as I recall, the second player is, limited in what they can actually do.
Oh, I guess that answers that
Feel
question.
the fury. Time to do some real.
I have done it one time with another player. To be honest, I don't remember how much the second player is handicapped moving through this, but there are steps to kind of keep you from I don't want to say cheating, but using the fact that there are two of you in the party to bypass some of the things that they want you to do. Alright, so we got another charge. Which will get us, and one here. So now you see we're at 2. We're going to use 1 to get out of this room, which means we'll leave the room with 1. But remember, we entered this door over here with 0, and we can pick the 1 over here back up. So now we're at 1 more charge than we entered that room with, which is not super satisfying, honestly. This is an interesting instance to play through once. And then kind of stops being that interesting after the first playthrough, because then it starts feeling like you're just kind of doing, like you're just going through this unnecessarily almost.
I've never actually been on a tour of the whole house. Every Every day, June would say she was gonna take me, and then we'd get caught up in our work. The whole day would just, slip away.
I'm glad you've been having such a good time.
I'm sorry, Commander. I know I failed, but I've learned a lot. And June, well, she's brilliant. And despite the mild narcissism, she wants to do good. She can help us, and we can help her, and I know we can make her see that.
So, like, our entire entourage kind of engages in this mass narcissism with us. We can make her see that. Like, alright, man. Like, that's cool, I guess. Like, maybe... I guess it's this sense of, like, desperation on our part that makes that okay. Do you have something you want to say, Timmy?
Don't see any way to open this door. Could be the switch is on the other side.
Yeah, it could be. I guess Timmy just offers us clues, which I don't know that I care that much about. Yeah, Jade bots necessary.
Getting handy with that Jade bot. Maybe
Thank you,
a new career
Timmy.
if you get, more security mechs. Take him out.
I'll break you down. They'll have to hit much. Time to do some real damage. With her.
This door's on a closed circuit. Can't reroute it.
Feel the fury.
But its power core's sitting right up there. You're just gonna have to climb up and do some... You smashed it! Good, Commander.
You think I don't see what you're doing down there? Or that I wouldn't have a backup security system?
Tampering detected. Secondary lockdown initiated.
She sealed off the batteries.
And turned on some pretty unfriendly-looking lasers.
Nonsense, Kaz.
Time to do
All
some real
lasers are
damage.
Incredibly friendly. You just need to point them in the right direction, and they're happy to oblige. Like, say, add some shields.
Okay, which is exactly what we want to do. We're just going to use this laser here to take out the shields of a variety of things that we're going to need access to in this room. Thank you, Timmy, for, like, that very heavy-handed hint.
Well, the good news is, we're getting close.
You're sure?
If we weren't, the house wouldn't be trying so hard to kill us.
Let's get this done before it succeeds.
Ambassador Meade,
Yes, Detective?
they're asking for you in court. News of the minister's arrest is getting around. They need you to answer some questions about the commander's involvement.
I'm needed here.
Go, Kaz. We can handle June.
I guess I'm on my way then. My only diplomatic advice is just to listen and try to understand.
Thanks, Casimir. So conveniently, June did not close this door or this one, or turn on any of the robots out in the yard when she activated the other security systems. So, Casimir's free to go do her thing. Oh, do I actually need that one down there? Maybe I do. So we have the ability to hold 4 charges because we have the mastery now on this count. But it certainly can be done if you can only hold 2. You just have to deposit the charges like for safekeeping, kind of like I had that one over there. In this case, I thought I didn't need it anymore. I thought that I had enough to continue through the puzzle, so I just went ahead and stuck it there. I was wrong.
Wait, does June have a child?
Yeah, a daughter, son. That's a pretty normal thing for a person to have. You know, if you don't spend your time traveling around the world fighting dragons. Just saying.
She doesn't seem like the motherly type.
Well, I wouldn't say she's motherly, but that doesn't mean she isn't a mom. Her husband, Gi-moon, that's way more his thing. Nice guy.
So, honestly, I've always found that to be kind of a weird exchange all the way around. But it's fine. And so, you know, like there are some additional achievements, by the way, that can be obtained here. One of them is if we read all these, like... Oh, yeah, see, there it is. Apparently I don't have it yet on this count. We are not going to be pursuing it at this point in time. There's also an achievement when we were down in this room down here. There's a kitchen back there that we didn't bother messing around with. I don't even remember how to get back there, to be honest. But you certainly can get back there. And, ooh, just missed. And if you do, you can talk to her husband, and we're trying to get the laser to hit that, by the way. And we got it. All right, good times. Yeah, so there's an achievement for chatting with the husband. I mean, it's fine. Like, if you're after all the achievements, by all means, go chat with the husband. I don't know that it adds a lot to the story, if I'm being honest. We can probably still do it because we got. You know, we're gonna have all the charges we need to do it by the time all's said and done here. If we go back through that way, we won't have to use charges on that door. We can just go up. I think through that way. I don't know. We can figure it out if we really want to go see the Joon's husband.
Activating security grid.
No! Oh, I was so close.
I know. So disappointing, right? Alright. So there's two walls that appear based on where the lever is. And it's just the two blue lines there. That's it. Nothing more interesting than that.
Real damage. And that should be enough.
Should be, but we're still stuck on the other side of this wall, Commander. Alright. So we do, though, as the commander noted, have all the charges we need. And presumably all we need to go visit Joon's husband, too. I guess we'll do that because it is, if anything, it's story content, right? Like that's... It's lore more than it's gameplay, so we might as well go scope that out. There we are. So we're carrying all 4 charges right now. Oh, that door's shut? That's okay. 4 will get us back there to go on this door. Oh, will it not? We can't open that door anymore? What about this one? Is that one open now? Or did we miss our opportunity? For shame, we missed it. Alright, well. No Gi-Moon for us.
Back out. But don't worry, I'll get this fixed and join you in a few minutes.
Okay, Tammy. Well, I'll continue to go force Joon to do what I want because that's what commanders do.
Minister Lee of the Ministry of Security has been arrested. Details are still emerging. The reports are that the powerful Tyrian known as the Commander may have been involved.
So, Commander, you're going around arresting state officials now?
Lee attacked us. He's a purist.
I know. He couldn't have made it more obvious if he'd walked around carrying a bust of Reiko herself. What happened?
We brought him proof we were innocent. He preferred we keep looking guilty.
And I suppose you brought that proof here?
Yes. A piece of Anka's extractor.
This reminds me of back in the day when you... I don't know, is it still like this? With online banking, is this still a thing where you, like, pull up to the bank drive-thru and you put in, like, a vacuum tube kind of thing? Like, not vacuum tubes like 1950s televisions, but, like, the little thing would shoot through the tube and you'd put whatever in there and then it'd shoot through the tube back to the bank teller. Really cool stuff. Looks similar, at least. Look, see? Went from there to there. Good times.
Commander, it seems I owe you an apology. You really had nothing to do with it.
Thanks. But we don't have time for apologies. We need to discuss potential solutions.
Potential solutions? I have a solution. Tiny and I have been working on the means to recapture Soo-Won and restore the reactor.
Joon, I'm afraid recapture isn't an option.
And I'm afraid not recapturing isn't an option, Commander.
Soo-Won's magic is all but completely corrupted by the void.
I've been working on a way to increase the efficacy of my filtration system. It's nearly there.
It's too late. You can't.
Don't tell me what I can't do. Our batteries only have enough power left for weeks, months maybe, and then everything stops working. Do you know what that means?
I will not allow you to put her back in that reactor.
Then I guess we're at an impasse. I don't want to do this. But we need that reactor. People will die if those batteries fail.
Everyone will die when Soo-Won succumbs to the void.
I won't let that happen.
Feel the fury. Wither.
So we kind of have a confrontation between two really stupid people here. So clearly part of Joon's...
I have no desire
Feel
to
the
hurt you.
fury.
No, the commander letting us threat, so I answered.
Time to do some real damage.
I will leave or I will be forced to use it on you too.
Commander, hold off a minute. I'll try to override the system and find us a way to shut it down.
Tiny.
Requesting total reconstruction.
Alright, so what was I saying? So Joon obviously is partially motivated by her desire for profit. And I think we're meant to, at least in part, perceive that as also her desire for,
Feel the fury.
to keep her, the Jade tech power flowing for the good of all Cantha. But, I mean, clearly, like,
Wither.
it's like Elon Musk saying, I can't let Tesla die because people really need electric cars. If you say so, man. Like, people did okay without electric cars for a really long time. And people will be okay without Jade Tech as well. After all, the Resteria doesn't have it, right? So,
Time to do
it's clear that Joon's motivations are as much profit as anything. At the same time, the commander's motivations are do what I tell you, or I'll be really unhappy and smash all your things. So again, like two kind of really stupid people, right?
I've equipped this room with backups upon backups. You won't need them all.
Engaging hostiles.
I wonder if ArenaNet thinks that's a part of the commander that we really like this arrogant, refusal to listen to anybody else kind of thing. Do you think that's, like, is that possible that they think that players really want that? I don't know.
I'll break you down. Wither.
Requesting total reconstruction.
Hurts, doesn't it?
So generally, I prefer to fight out where the laser can't get to me, but my pet's keeping these detainers in the center of the floor instead of allowing me to pull them effectively. I guess if I were a Soul Beast, I wouldn't have that problem, right? So we have an enemy who's, like, in the bubble. So just like the bubble that was defending the whatchamacallits, the battery switch things, it will also, that laser will also remove the shielding from these couriers here. Alright, so I missed a bunch of dialogue there because I was running my mouth. Timey. Oh wait, Joon. Timey, we've been working on this together. You verified my results. Timey, I did, but the variables have changed. The corruption's so much worse than we were accounting for. There just isn't time to make your way work, but the commander's got a solid plan to reconstruct Anka's extractor. Joon, a plan that would bring Cantha to its knees, or maybe that's been your plan all along. So, I mean that's ridiculous on the part of Joon to suggest that that like somehow we had a plan to like destabilize Cantha. Like now we're like, the FSB or something. Like that's ridiculous. But at the same time, we are apparently completely unable to acknowledge that Joon's plan actually has like some real merits. Joon's technology was already functionally filtering magic for Soo-Won. So there's already precedent for her idea to work.
I will free us from the tyranny of the dragon cycle. I've saved this empire, and you're
Alright, so super, like, megalomania, narcissism out of Joon there. Apparently part of her character. Again, it's okay, because it's also part of, oh yeah, I forgot. It's also part of the commander's character, so we're just used to it at this one.
Memory wipe imminent.
Feel the fury.
I generally try and stay away from that turret, but... Alright, let's see. Is it right here, I think? Where's the, I lost track of the lever. Ah, there it is. Working on it, Timey, thanks. I'm still gonna have to do that one more time. I didn't take care of everything the way I should have.
They'll have to hit much harder.
Imminent.
Time to do some real damage.
This last shield's connected to multiple doors. We'll need to take them all out.
It's a good plan, Tommy. Thanks. I will endeavor to take them all out. Let's see. Oh yeah, we got to get that laser thing. All right, so the pressure plate's down here. But the laser's still up there, so what we gotta do is, well, let's kill this guy first so that he's not killing us while we're doing this. Alright. Now we should be able to use our Jade Bot to, like, draw the fire of the laser. There we go. Then we just need to get back up there, which should be really easy because there's, like, literally steps right over here.
Feel the fury.
That's the last year's security, Jim. You're gonna have to talk to us.
No.
And by talk, Tommy means given. If you can dodge a ball, you can dodge a wrench.
I saved Soo-Won from herself. I was trying to save all of you.
Joon, what you did to Soo-Won only delayed the inevitable.
It gave civilization a chance. Someone has to lead. Someone always has to lead. I don't apologize for being exceptional. I don't apologize for being brilliant.
You are brilliant. And I know it feels like the world's always underestimated you, but I don't. We share the same goal. You can find a new future, one without Soo-Won. I'll help you. But none of us have a future if we go at it alone.
Life coach, Timey.
Okay. Let's talk. So you mentioned building a new extractor.
Yes, I think we can easily reconstruct it from what the commander brought us. We'll use that to drain enough void magic that it'll be safe for the commander to deal with Soo-Won. There won't be much, any time for testing it.
We'll make more than one, then, to account for any potential points of failure. Have you thought about containment options?
That's Aureen.
And if she should fall, we need backup options, Timey. Backups upon backups, always. To protect us from total failure. Unless, of course, our opponents are irritatingly persistent.
Commander, we'll get this done. It's gonna be a bit rough and ready, but it'll happen.
Good. Then I'll meet you two in the Jade Sea.
You can be sure of it, Commander.
Okie dokie. Well, I guess we'll all go meeting in the Jade Sea.
Mine. All mine.
All right. So a lot of this instance really grates on me, and it's because of the character of Joon, and then the way that interaction plays with the character that the commander naturally is. Right? I think I made my feelings on that pretty clear. In fairness, as you know, in terms of the progression of the story, what Timey gives us here, as like this, like, hey, you know, we have a plan and we're going to do this thing, and like it's not terrible in its relationship to the story. Okay, I'm not a fan of Timey's character. I don't like, this is like classic Guild Wars 2. Like, they revert back to like their old ways of like everyone like high-fiving. Let's all slam our heads against the wall till the wall breaks. Everybody loves the idea. Let's do it. But I don't know. So it guys, I guess in that sense it plays like classic Guild Wars 2 here, and that's what we're used to by this point in time, right? Not the worst thing ever, though.
Ready for some good news?
Sure.
You're in the clear. You can finally deactivate that silly mask.
And then give it to me. We don't need to let Mintil know, right?
Detective Rama testified on your behalf, and then Joon herself called in to drop all charges. There were a few holdouts in the court, but with Minister Lee being arrested for purist activities, it suddenly became very unfashionable to look suspicious of outsiders. Representatives of every major faction are headed to the Jade Sea to help fight the Void.
So what's our play?
Our play?
Yes, Commander goes where the action is. I'm sticking with you.
It'll be up to us to get the extractors in place. Meet me at Arborstone. We need a plan of attack.
All right, so this actually ends up manifesting a little bit like, remember Heart of Thorns when suddenly like everyone's gonna do this thing and there are these different lanes, and then during the actual meta event, I've never done this one before. This is a new thing for me. Oh, look, way down there. And we kind of almost feel like there could have been a lot more development before suddenly we're ready to go. It's really, really similar here. So we get that dialogue, all the factions. Let's see, what's the actual... representatives of every major faction are heading to the Jade Sea to help fight the Void. And just like that, that's kind of what plays out. Bam. Every faction is there. There's not much more development in that. Where's my Arborstone little portal thing? Do I have it on another character or something? Why don't I have it? Did I get rid of it on accident? Can you imagine? The outrage. Okay, well, we'll just have to waypoint there. Did I trash it without thinking about it? What if there's an NPC you can get it back from? I bet there is. That of like all the things they did pretty well with Arborstone, the one thing that was like dumbfoundingly weird was that portal that's given to each individual character. But you can, of course, the reason I was looking for it is immediately I assumed it was right here, because that's generally where I keep it on every one of my accounts. Well, not every one, because some of my accounts don't have much shared storage. But like for my accounts that do, like I would have expected it to be right there or right there. But I bought Secrets of the Obscure, so now that space is occupied by that boost. But, is it like right in front of me and I'm not seeing it? Doesn't look that way. All right. Well, let's get ready to do the thing.
Maybe if we just move this 3 millimeters over.
That'll work, Tommy. Try wiggling it too. That might help also.
Thank you for meeting me here, everyone. Joon?
As you all know, we've been busy replicating Olga's extractor. The plan is that we use the replicas to cure Soo-Won.
What happens to the Void once we pull it out of her?
It should pass to our read.
And it's not going to turn her into a rampaging dragon?
Maureen's been able to withstand the corruption in the past.
But we don't know for sure, which is why we'll have an army.
Those of you in the Jade Sea, what's Soo-Won's status?
Still rampaging. We've managed to keep her contained, but everyone's growing weary.
You won't have too much longer. Are the extractors ready to be moved to the Jade Sea?
They'll be ready to go any second, Commander. We're just running a few last-minute tests. Why in the hell didn't that work? I was precise. And, making a few last-minute adjustments. But they'll be in the air in minutes. Tens of minutes at the most.
Gorik, you meet Taimi and Joon in the Jade Sea. We need all our best minds keeping the extractors working.
Actually, Commander, I want to be on the front line. I want to fight the Dragon Void.
Gorik.
I won't be talked out of it. It was my blunder that set this all in motion. This Choya brain needs to make things right.
Commander, Saida and I are out here just off the coast of the Jade Sea. Void creatures are spreading beyond the shore. Rapidly. We might want to get ahead of that. If you have any forces that are air-capable...
Air-capable? That's Ivan. I'll go.
I can go with you. I'm good with heights.
Well, as long as you've got an airship and are reasonably useful in a fight, you're hired.
Very well. Kaz, Jory, since you know all players involved, I need you two to join Battlefield Command.
We won't let you down.
I know. We've been here before. It didn't break us then, and it won't break us now.
Alright, super motivational.
It's gonna save the world, you know. Wait, have my comms been open this whole time? Sorry, Commander.
I don't know about this one. I don't know if we'll...
It's a long shot. No denying that. But we can't think about that. We've just got to deal with what's right in front of us.
Eyes forward. Hearts open.
We take this last one, side by side. Okay? Every step of the way.
Every step of the way.
Super touching. Alright. Can't help but listen in on your personal conversations, probably because you're having them in public. There's something expectation of privacy. Marjorie, what's up? No idea how good it was to get your call. A few more minutes with speakers. Yeah, so you were working with the speakers. Coordinating our efforts, you mean? Reminding them over and over not to enslave spirits. Yeah, no, way to link up with those folks and tell them what they should be doing. Although, in fairness, that's probably, they're probably doing bad things. So that's one of the two, right? We got the speakers of Jade Brotherhood is like the two gangs. So she's going to be helping us, bring one of these gangs into the fold for the fight. You sound worn out. You sound exasperated, Marjorie. Yes. They all thought I'd look the other way just because I practice necromancy. Like it's at all comparable. Huh. We're gonna blow past that. We're not gonna address that, Commander. Can we count on them as allies? I think if you called Tetra Earthcall your ally to her face, she'd stomp you. But Tetra is legitimately concerned about the fate of the planet. For the time being, she sees us as threat number 2, and she's got her hands full with threat number 1. And her followers do whatever she says. Fanatical, but to our advantage here. Yeah, none of that sounds good. Right? There are a lot of things that, as far as we know, are never going to get addressed, like post End of Dragons. And I guess that's okay, because, post Heart of Thorns, the Mordrum are still rampaging. Post Path of Fire, there's still... plenty of issues out in the desert, and continue to be plenty of issues out in the desert to this day. There are a lot of loose ends left in that story, and we're gonna have lots of loose ends left after End of Dragons too. And one of them, I guess, being what happens with the speakers. Are they going to continue their whole thing? In the last instance, we also had Joon talk about how with Soo-Won no longer being at her facility, and in fact her facility being destroyed, we're weeks or maybe months away from no J-Tech working. Is that going to be a thing? Probably not. Right? Casimir, what are your thoughts on loose ends? You can count on us, Commander. Yeah, I count on you to create loose ends. Was there anything else you wanted to go over? What's happened to Mr. Lee? What's up with that guy?
He's been arrested.
Oh, you have voice acting.
I don't know much about the Canthan legal system yet. That's more your area of expertise.
Jokes.
But my guess is he'll go on trial when things calm down. Probably be locked up for quite a while. He obstructed investigations into some pretty serious acts of terrorism. We still haven't received any kind of formal apology yet. But I imagine that comes after we've saved reality as we know it.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about formal apologies. Like that's like a thing for weak people. I'm more concerned about like this being functional. Gorak, what are your thoughts? It's good to be. Dialogue box is unfortunate. How far away? There we go. It's good to be back with Dragon's Watch again, though I'd be lying if I said my time with the Jade Brotherhood wasn't instructive. Oh? Do tell, Gorak. So you were working with the Jade Brotherhood. Oh, yes. I was acting as our liaison to them while you were off talking to Joon. I got to observe some of their experiments, and, well, it took me back to my days in the Inquest. That's actually a pretty fair, parallel, or a pretty fair comparison to make between the Inquest and the Jade Brotherhood. It's not a perfect, parallel, but it is interesting. Not getting nostalgic for the Inquest, are you? A little bit of nostalgia, maybe. I watched them experiment with adding a Jade core to a living... Oh, you don't want to hear about that. Anyway, it mostly reminded me how glad I am to be out. I actually really want to hear about that. They're like the... if you want to draw, real accusations, or you want to say, the Guild Wars 2 Cyberpunk expansion, then I guess that's where you would really draw it, was like the Jade Brotherhood and this kind of thing. Do you think they're really going to fight with us? I think so. They're as scared as anyone of the laws of physics breaking down. That's pretty crucial to engineering, after all. But I'm not so sure what'll happen 10 minutes after the battle's over. Yeah, so it's almost like between the Tetra thing and the Jade Brotherhood thing here, we have some kind of in-game justification for the meta events to continue happening and stuff like that, I suppose. Rama, what are your thoughts? Commander, I never quite thought things would get this bad. Yeah, me either. Except that they do, repeatedly, over and over. That's what makes it an MMO. I admit, it's throwing me a little, but I'll get over it soon. My head's in the game. I'm here for whatever you need. Real trooper. They don't need you at the Ministry of Security?
Nah. I told them everything I know. The administrators get to clean up the mess at this point.
Who's going to be the next Minister of Security? You?
Oh, boy. No. I am not going to be the next Minister of Security. There are about 5 levels of deputy ministers ahead of me. And truth is, I don't want to be promoted. I could have been deputy minister years ago. That's not the life for me. I like the work. I don't want to watch other people do it. Besides, after all that's happened, I don't know if the ministry's really even the place for me anymore.
So I actually quite like that. I like that Rama is someone who's not have we not had enough of being friends with Queen Jenna, being friends with Smoder, being friends with the Pale Tree? How about some people who aren't going to be national level leadership, right? I like that. Ayumi, do you like that? Can't believe I'm out to go ride around in an airship. Next visit to my mom in New Kaineng, we're gonna have a lot to talk about. Yes, indeed. Where are the rest of the Kestrels?
They're back in Echovold. The void corruption there is significant now. But they're doing what we do best. Keeping the people of the forest as safe as they can. I know they'll be okay.
They will. But if you're worried, you could go back and join them.
No. I can do more good out here. If we stop what's going on in the Jade Sea, then everyone is safe.
I actually quite like that bit of dialogue, too. I like the idea that there were some folks who... Because we like the commander who, races away at every crisis and engages that crisis head-on and stuff, right? Because that's what makes video games fun. But I like that there are these characters who return to what they value most and defend their village instead of defending the world. And so it's good to see that reflected there. Ivan, our Aetherblade Dredge friend. Ivan is here for whatever you need, Commander. You have an airship, Ivan?
Oh, yeah. Won it in a game of dice. Some Echovold scrapper found one of our galleons Anka stashed. He thought it was a water ship. Didn't even know what he had. Ha! If I hadn't won, I'd have probably found a way to liberate it from him. Anyway, I ran into a few other ex-Aetherblades who were all interested in forming a new crew to do, strictly legal sorts of airshipping.
Strictly legal. Good to hear. I hope one day we run into Ivan and his Aetherblades, and I hope they're doing pirate things. Timey. Hey, Commander. Busy here trying to get these extractors prepped. Did you need something? Do we have any idea what the void actually is? Yeah, it's a really good question. One that probably she's going to dodge because I don't know that that's like much clarity is given to that.
Oh boy, there's a question. Kind of, but not really. Our observations line up with what Kunabang described. Void magic is made up of all the other magics. It's funny because when you hear the word void, you think of nothing, when the truth is, it's everything. But it turns out everything is highly volatile. Any matter caught up in it changes states constantly. Life can't survive like that. We can't survive like that.
Okay. Many things were learned. Let's go to Dragon's End. And let's get started on that. So we're not going to get, certainly not today, we are not going to get through the end of Dragon's End. We're also not going to attempt to do the meta day. I've actually been going back and forth. I'd always planned to do the meta event in addition to doing the Dragon's End story instance. However, I've been reconsidering that because I'm not 100% sure that that's actually necessary. I was thinking it was because like the meta event shows something different than what the story instance shows. And it does a little bit, but not significantly. I don't know how much we gain by actually doing the meta. I'm going to have to give that some thought. Haven't decided yet. And it's so much worse than like the Dragon Stand meta when it comes to like making sure that you're in like a good. I could easily like get on a map that I feel like is going to succeed, and they're advertising in the LFG, and like it's all right, this is the one, and then I could record the whole time and talk through the entire event, and then it would fail. It's just too easy to happen with Dragon's End, and that's frustrating. And then I'd have to do the whole thing again. So I haven't 100% made up my mind on the whole Dragon's End thing yet. We'll see.
Yes. Do not look directly at it. What could possibly... I can't... What's going on? Please.
Well, she did say not to look directly at it. I guess those are two of the Kestrels who were left to protect the village from the void. And now there's only one. Alright, into Dragon's End we go. The last bit of End of Dragons.
Commander, the extractors have just reached the Jade Sea.
Good timing. So have I.
We'll need you to place the 5 perimeter extractors, while Timey and I travel with the main device to a staging area near the Harvest Temple. You'll need to lay them out in a configuration that leaves no room for her escape. We used maps to determine approximate locations, but we've sent a device to help you pinpoint the ideal spots.
It should be dropping in any second now.
So I have no idea. I'm not sure I've ever been in like the right spot to know whether or not something actually drops into the map, like, client side for you to see when those things, quote unquote, drop in. Not sure if that's the case or not. I think in some ways, so this is an interesting map because much like Dragon Stand or Dragonfall, which are the two maps that I think have the most in common with this one, like those, this entire map is dedicated to the meta event in its entirety. I do think it is a visually like a very nice map. I think there's a lot of cool stuff going on. The Jade, I think, has a tendency to kind of naturally be kind of a pretty thing to look at, but would probably get obnoxious given how much they use of it in this map if they didn't break that up with some other fun and interesting things as well. And I think that their understanding of that, when it comes to map design, I think more often than not...
Good. You need to scan the locations we sent.
Oh, and, Commander, hi. We just got a chance to survey the Jade Sea. It's a mess out there. Which is no one's fault. The void just keeps coming. Anyway, I'm sure the people at the Jade Sea would appreciate any help you have to offer while you're out there.
I don't understand why Casimir like makes a point of saying it's no one's fault. Like, are we trying to avoid the suggestion that it's the commander's fault? We know it's not the commander's fault. Like, I mean, as much as the commander would like to take responsibility for literally everything that happens in the world of Tyria, that's not always the case. Oh, that's not actually where I wanted to go. But whose fault is it not that she's trying to avoid suggestion that it's their fault? It's a very confusing thing for me. So when this map first came out and it was super busy, you could reliably like come to place these sensors, and there would be other people already here trying to kill these enemies and stuff too, and that kind of made it an interesting thing. It is possible if you come up and like someone's at the point that I'm at right now where I'm just killing the last one and it's like just about done, then you don't actually have to kill any enemies. I think, you know, playing this, like, I probably got to this point on like the second day after release, because I wasn't able to play a lot the first day, and it takes time to get through the whole story and stuff.
First extractors on the ground.
Wonderful. We've just got to the staging area, getting everything set up.
Hay sent some local racketeers to assist us. We'll be lucky if they don't rob us blind.
Cool, cool. Thanks for being judgy, Joon. I want to say that like the very, very first time I played this, like I made it through several extractors before even realizing that enemies would spawn when you reach the extractor points. I didn't even know that because there were already people killing, you know, the enemies every time I got to an extractor point.
They'll have to hit much harder.
Commander, you're needed at the Jade Quarry base camp now. Soo-Won arrived right on time.
Feel the fury.
So that has nothing to do with the story, by the way. That is the meta event. That can get real confusing on, just as it did, we were running into the same problem where we were trying to enjoy the story in Ekavald Wilds, and dialogue, like voice acting for the meta event, kept interrupting us. Same thing's going to happen on this map.
In place.
Careful, set it down gently. Gently. Sorry about that, Commander. Things are pretty hectic over here.
No problem, Tommy. All is good. Yeah, so it's, and I think that's kind of a new thing that they rolled out with End of Dragons, where like there was a lot of voice acting related to the meta event that was map wide. I don't remember that really being a thing. I guess in Dragonfall it's sort of a thing, isn't it? But it can be a touch distracting. In End of Dragons, I feel like it's a touch distracting. Am I wrong? By the way, I haven't been using the special action key. There's a special action key that leads you to like where you need to be for the to put these extractors in place.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Presumably on like a first playthrough. If you were watching this and you hadn't actually played through End of Dragons, maybe you should stop watching. I don't know, but yeah, definitely like, you know, that's probably the way you'd go about it. You probably wouldn't have the, you know, the locations more or less memorized.
Feel the fury. They'll have to hit much harder. All shiny. Third's in place.
Good, good. We've had a bit of a complication over here. Seems we've attracted the attention of some void monsters.
You're all right?
Oh yeah, nothing we can't handle. These gang members are pretty tough, and so far they haven't stolen a thing.
That we know of.
And Joon, still not likable. I'm not sure there's anything we can do to really address that issue. Might as well grab this while we're here.
Another personal victory.
Where are we at on that, by the way? Oh, 18? We got a ton of them. Alright, cool. Oh, there's another one right up there. Should we go get that one too? Might as well. We got the time. 'Cause these extractors are the last thing we're going to do today. This is kind of bad timing to be doing this story step. It's an interesting thing whether you're looking at... so Dragon's Stand does not suffer from this problem. Because Dragon's Stand's only existence, which separates it from Dragonfall and Dragon's End, is that it's there, you know, for the meta event. And you briefly touch it in the story. But the meta event in Dragon's Stand won't interfere with your ability to play the story at all. They don't touch each other.
Are you all safe?
Mostly. We lost a couple of the gang members, and just as we got back to work, we had to fight their void shades. But now they're taken care of too, so we can finally get back to work.
However, both Dragonfall and this map, what's happening in the meta event can actually like impact your ability to, you know, it's not going to stop you from playing through the story, but it can impact how easily you navigate through the story. And that is a little bit of a weird design decision. Now, I do think they put forth the effort to avoid it being seriously problematic. Like, I don't think that, you know, the meta event taking place completely prevents you from, you know, from advancing the story, but it can make it a little bit more of a pain, and it's kind of a weird thing to have happen. Okay, I think it's right over here. Yep.
Strength of the pack.
This one's actually talking to me. That's fun. I like it when dragon minions talk. Which I actually do, because if they're going to present the dragons as being like these, like, really, like, hyper-intelligent beings, as well as, you know, being dangerous, which they did with some of them, and yet some of them they very clearly did not. It didn't feel that way with Zaitan, although they tried to indicate in the story that he was intelligent. They certainly didn't do that with Primordus. And yet somehow the Void, which is not a dragon itself, like, appears to be hyper-intelligent. Very weird thing. Let's get this extractor planted.
Last extractor is in place.
Go team.
Excellent work, Commander. We're almost finished setting up here as well.
We should be done in a few minutes, so long as we don't have any more interruptions.
Alright. So the next thing that we have, we got one instance left, which is like the big instance. But we also have a green bar, because just can't finish this without one more green bar, right? So we'll do all that next time. We'll also, I think we'll probably go ahead and do the meta event. So sometime later this week, I will, you know, LFG it and dedicate the, you know, minimum of an hour, if not closer to 2, because you got to get in a group way before the meta actually happens if you really want to get in a good group. So I'll dedicate the 90 to 120 minutes it takes, and we'll fill the green bar by completing the meta. And I think that's how we'll tackle that. We'll go ahead and do this ridiculous meta. There are some interesting things that take place in the meta that the story doesn't cover. There's one thing in particular that we'll make a point of experiencing so that we capture it in gameplay. So I think that's where we're at. We might as well finish it up right here. Grab a little bit of that jade. Finally finishing those elite spec weapons on my main account. Should have that done in the next few days. I just got to get through a little bit more with my guardian, and I'll be done. Lots of jade. Need lots of jade for that. All right. So we have got to the point now where we are ready to directly confront Soo-Won, or what's left of Soo-Won after she's been consumed by the void. What did it take to achieve that? Well, we had to convince Joon. And in order to convince Joon, we had to break into her house, smash all her things, and threaten her. And that was finally enough to convince her to help us. If you were to learn life lessons from playing Guild Wars 2, that is one that you should probably not take with you. Best to leave that life lesson on the pile of garbage life lessons and just not utilize that one. But just saying, that's what we did. So now that we've got Joon on board, we're using her tech, her and Timey reconstructed Anka's extractor, and we are ready to take the fight to Soo-Won. So next time, I think we're going to go ahead and do the meta event. We'll use the meta event to fill up our green bar here, and then we will do the story instance of the encounter with Soo-Won once we've done it open world style. All this, of course, dependent on getting a good group, so hopefully we do. Alright, well, I appreciate your time, and I will see you for that big, scary, ridiculous meta. Later.